Hey guys, I'm Lauren Chance, Christopher Chance's better half, and today I've contrived a way to keep Christopher out of the shop so I can take advantage of the tools and supplies he's got in order to make a little Valentine's Day decor for our house. I'm kind of hoping you'll stick around and follow along and maybe go ahead and give me a like and subscribe just so I can show Christopher that I am worthy of a video. So I started out by trying to follow in my husband's footsteps and draw out some diagrams of what exactly this project might look like and how big my cuts might need to be, what the dimensions would be, that kind of thing. But as you can see, I quickly realized that that is just not my way of doing things. Despite a background in landscape architecture, this is just not gonna work. So instead, we're just gonna kind of wing it. I'm gonna start out by ripping down some cedar fence pickets that we had lying around to 1.5 inches wide. And then from there, I'll be able to figure out exactly how long I want each of the pieces to be in order to create my design. So let me show you a little bit of what I'm trying to accomplish here. So the ultimate goal of this project is to create something like a barnwood quilt, except that the barnwood quilt will ultimately be a heart that will then be centered within a frame that I can set on the entry table to kind of complete the look of our welcome, it's Valentine's Day appearance. And so as you can see, I started out by looking at different sizes of widths and how to like lay them out to get the heart look. So this one ends up on its side, but this one would be one that would actually sit up right. And I don't actually know in the end ultimately which one I liked better, on the side or upright. So in order to just kind of figure out which one ends up looking better, I'm gonna make them both. So now we've got all of our 1.5 inch pieces. So now I'm going to take these over to the miter station and start playing with how long each of these pieces need to be in order to create the heart design. The design roughly kind of figured out here in terms of putting the blocks together, and you can kind of sort of see a heart going on here. So the next thing I need to do is take off some 45-degree angles on these two outer pieces here, and that way then it'll actually maybe start coming together a little bit more heart-like. Alright, so I've got this cut out. I've got all the kind of framing pieces now put in place as well. So from here, these pieces are all going to get painted white that kind of frame out the heart. So it'll be kind of this stained heart inside this floating white frame. I'm also going to work on creating that other one that's the heart within the frame. But after working on this one and seeing just how big this ended up turning out, this would work really well as a wall hanging maybe or something along that line. But for my entry table, this is a little bit bigger than I actually was thinking. It's 12 inches by 12 inches, which was what I planned for, but 12 inches is just a lot bigger than I thought. All jokes that you're now making in your brain aside, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to scale down the next one and see if I can just make it a little bit smaller. Alright, so we've got our center heart now cut out. And the great thing about doing it the way that I ended up doing it is that all of these are 45-degree angles, which means that whenever I go to cut out the border that surrounds this within the frame, all I have to do is make 45-degree angle cuts. But before I get to that kind of complicated piece of this, I'm actually going to start by cutting some 1x1 squares that I know are going to fit in certain areas of this. So then kind of help me figure out what the lengths of some of those awkward cut pieces are. the heart pieces are now cut out, so now it's time to move on to staining the pieces. So I've selected 3 different stains that I'm going to be working with for the actual heart component of these pieces. And then I'm going to be using some sort of kind of a whitewash for the outer border of it. So what I've got here is I've got some Varathane Classic Gray, Varathane Rose, and Varathane Barn Red. So these two, the Rose and the Barn Red, are something I haven't used before, and so they're a little different. I think they should still work the same as a regular stain, kind of like this Classic Gray. But it'll be interesting to use them, seeing as this is the first time. So I'll let you know what I think. So in this situation, to get the whitewash look, I've actually taken some white paint and mixed in some paint thinner to try and get it a little bit thinner. Right now it just seems like kind of a sloggy, thick mess, but I've actually been testing this on some pieces of wood. And if I look at the tests and like I kind of paint it on and then I brush it off after letting it dry for a little bit, this was me brushing it off immediately. This was if I let it sit for about 5 minutes before I brushed it off. Check that out. All that red paint or stain look like I'm bleeding, guys. Bleeding! Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and paint up all the white pieces and then let them sit for a little bit and then wipe it off. So hopefully that'll work. Dry overnight, and so now I'm back out here and I'm about to glue these down to some leftover MDF board that we had in the shop, and then from there we'll be able to cut them out, even up all the edges, and start putting a border on them.
Hey all you DIYers, this is Christopher helping Lauren edit this video. So this is my only audio appearance in this video, but I figured I'd point something out. In order to get a perfect square on these projects, what we did is we used an engineering square to make a perfect 90-degree angle on the face of the project. Then we adjusted the miter saw slightly about 1 to 2 degrees in order to cut one of those lines perfectly straight. Now that we had a perfectly straight side, you could rotate the piece, putting that freshly cut side against the fence, rotate your miter saw back to 0 degrees, and be guaranteed you'd get a 90-degree cut. Once you're done with that second cut, you can then just keep rotating the project, putting the new freshly cut sides against the fence until you had a perfect square.
turn out. I think it looks really good.
Hey, so like if I took this, would I have stolen your heart?
What? Now I have a broken heart.